feels like we're the only two people here right now.
I know. It's perfect, isn't it?
She had known him for 3 weeks. Not 3 weeks of the specific ordinary courtship. The specific dinners and the specific walks and the specific gradual accumulation of the specific knowledge of the specific person that the specific ordinary courtship allows. 3 weeks of the specific wartime encounter. The dances at the village hall, the afternoons in the specific English tea shops that the specific American soldiers had discovered in the specific months of the specific English deployment, the specific conversations conducted in the specific awareness that the specific time was the specific limited time, and that the specific thing between them needed to be decided before the specific ship departed and the specific ocean placed itself between them. He had asked her to marry him on the 19th day. She had said yes on the 20th. They had married on the 21st. He had shipped out on the 22nd. She did not see him again for 9 months. She wrote to him. He wrote to her. The specific letters crossed the specific Atlantic in the specific mail system of the specific wartime, arriving in specific irregular order that the specific wartime conditions produced. Sometimes 3 arriving in the same week, sometimes none for a month. She read the specific letters many times. She learned things about him from the specific letters that she had not learned in the specific 3 weeks. She learned other things that the specific letters could not tell her, because the specific letters were the specific self-presentation of the specific person rather than the specific person, and the specific self-presentation is always the specific partial truth. She was 22 years old. She had grown up in a village in Kent, the specific English countryside that the specific Americans had passed through on their way to and from the specific London that the specific soldiers treated as a specific weekend destination. She had worked in the village post office. She had known the specific world of the specific English village, the specific rhythms, the specific people, the specific particular texture of the specific particular life, with the specific intimacy of the person who has grown up inside it and who has never been anywhere else. She had never been outside England. She had certainly never been to America. Before I tell you the full story of what she found when she crossed the ocean and what the crossing made of her, I want to ask you directly. Subscribe and share this episode. The War Brides, the approximately 70,000 British women who married American servicemen during the Second World War and who followed their husbands to the United States after the war, are one of the specific human consequences of the specific war that the specific history has addressed primarily as a demographic fact rather than as the specific human story of the specific individual women who made the specific crossing. Subscribe and hit the like button. Back to her, back to the woman on the ship, the specific mother-in-law. Thomas's mother, whom Eleanor met for the first time on the specific day after the specific Columbus platform, is one of the specific figures that the specific War Bride memoir addresses with the specific care of a person who has spent 40 years finding the specific right words for the specific complicated relationship. She was not unwelcoming. Eleanor was careful about this, very careful, in the memoir, about not presenting Thomas's mother as a specific villain of the specific narrative. She was not the specific villain. She was a specific woman who had raised a specific son, and who had sent the specific son to the specific war, and who had received the specific son back, and who was now meeting the specific English woman whom the specific son had married in 3 weeks before shipping out, and whom she had never met, and about whom she knew only what the specific son's specific letters had described. The specific letters had described Eleanor warmly. Thomas's mother had formed the specific impression from the specific letters of the specific warm English woman who was good for her son and who loved him in the specific evident way that the specific letters had conveyed. She had been prepared to receive Eleanor warmly, and she had done so. The specific welcome, the specific dinner, the specific particular Ohio hospitality that the specific Ohio woman offers to the specific new member of the specific family. She had also, Eleanor understood from the specific first days, a specific expectation about what the specific new member of the specific family was going to become, not the specific deliberate expectation, not the specific conscious program, the specific unconscious expectation of the specific woman who has built the specific particular life in a specific particular place, and who assumes without examining the assumption that the specific new member of the specific family is going to live the specific particular life in the specific particular way that the specific particular life requires. The specific particular life in the specific particular Ohio city required the specific church attendance and the specific PTA participation and the specific particular social occasions of the specific particular community. Thomas's mother was a participant in all of these. She expected Eleanor to become a participant. This was not an unreasonable expectation. Eleanor did become a participant, and the specific participation was the specific form of the specific belonging that the specific Ohio life offered. The specific complication was the specific pace and the specific form. Thomas's mother expected the specific quick integration, the specific English woman becoming the specific Ohio woman in the specific short time that the specific warmth and the specific welcome that the specific community offer were expected to produce. Eleanor needed the specific longer time. The specific integration was real and it was happening, but it was happening in the specific pace that the specific journey from the specific English village to the specific Ohio city required. And that pace was a specific slower pace than the specific expectation had anticipated. There were specific moments, not the specific dramatic confrontations. Eleanor was explicit about this. The memoir does not contain the specific dramatic confrontations that the specific dramatic narrative would prefer. The specific smaller moments. The specific comment about the specific English way of making the specific thing that was the specific wrong way to make in the specific Ohio household. The specific particular occasion at which Eleanor had done the specific particular thing in the specific particular English way that had been the specific particular wrong thing in the specific particular Ohio context. These specific smaller moments accumulated in the specific way that the specific smaller moments always accumulate, and the accumulation was a specific ongoing negotiation of the specific two women who loved the specific same man and who were finding the specific way to share the specific man. They found it. Eleanor was clear about this in the memoir. They found the specific way, not the specific simple way, not the specific way that the specific dramatic resolution of the specific dramatic story provides, but the specific ongoing way of the specific two women who learned, over the specific years, the specific particular respect for the specific particular difference. Thomas's mother learned that the specific English woman was going to be the specific English woman for the specific duration, and that the specific English woman being the specific English woman was not the specific failure of the specific integration, but the specific particular truth of the specific person who had crossed the specific ocean. Eleanor learned that the specific Ohio woman was going to express the specific particular love in the specific particular Ohio way, and that the specific particular Ohio way was the specific genuine love expressed in the specific particular form available. They were not close. They were the specific respectful. They shared the specific Thomas and the specific children and the specific particular occasions of the specific particular family life. They found a way. Thomas's mother died in 1971. Eleanor was at her bedside. She held her hand. She said in the memoir that she had been grateful for the specific dying woman's presence in the specific American life, not the specific grateful of the specific simple love, but the specific grateful of the specific person who has found the specific way with the specific difficult person and who understands, in the specific retrospect, that the specific finding was the specific real relationship rather than the specific easy relationship she had hoped for and not found. The specific real relationship is the specific better story. It is also the specific harder story. Eleanor told it honestly. The specific children, 4 of them born between 1947 and 1955, grew up in a specific Ohio city with a specific English mother and the specific Ohio father, and the specific particular combination of the specific two worlds that the specific two parents represented. They grew up drinking tea in the mornings and going to baseball games on summer evenings and knowing from a specific early age that their family had a specific particular origin story that the specific other families on the specific particular street did not have. The specific origin story was their mother had crossed the ocean for their father. Their father had met their mother at a dance in England 3 weeks before marrying her. Their mother had sailed to America 9 months later with 800 other women and had arrived in New York and been transported to Columbus and had met their father on the platform and had come home to the specific house on the specific street where they would all grow up. They knew the story. Eleanor told it to them, not as a specific romantic legend, not as a specific adventure story, but as a specific true account of what had happened and what it had required and what it had produced. She told it with a specific honesty that the memoir also demonstrates. The specific 3 weeks were real, and the specific love was real, and the specific difficulty was also real, and the specific ongoing work of the specific making it home was a specific central story rather than the specific ocean crossing, which was a specific dramatic part. The specific dramatic part is always the crossing. The specific central story is always the specific decades after. She crossed. She stayed. She made it home. The specific children understood this. They grew up in the specific home their mother had made, with the specific English tea in the mornings and the specific English expressions in the specific moments when they were most precisely needed. And they understood that the specific home had been made rather than simply found, and that the specific making had been the specific life's work of the specific woman who had done it. That is a specific inheritance Eleanor gave her children. Not the specific dramatic crossing, but the specific knowledge that the specific home can be made in the specific foreign place, from the specific available materials, by the specific person who has decided that the specific making is a specific thing to do. She decided. She crossed. She made it. The specific community of the specific ship, the 800 women crossing together toward the specific uncertain future, was a specific first version of the specific community that Eleanor found on the specific American side, and deserves more attention than the main narrative has given it. The women on the ship were not a uniform group. They came from different English cities and different English counties and different English social backgrounds. Some had married officers, some enlisted men, some had known their husbands for months before the wedding, some for weeks, some for days, some were carrying children. The specific babies who had been conceived in the specific wartime and who were making the specific crossing before they could know what crossing meant. Some were frightened. Some were confident. Some were both in the specific alternating way of the person who has made the specific large decision and who cycles between the specific conviction and the specific doubt. Eleanor found herself talking on the second day of the crossing with a woman from Liverpool named Doris who had married a soldier from Texas and who was going to ranch in the specific Texas hill country that she had never seen, and that sounded, to Eleanor, like a place from a film rather than a place from a specific ordinary world. Doris was a specific unsentimental type, the specific Liverpudlian directness, the specific flat humor, the specific particular toughness of the specific Northern English woman. She had married a Texan because she loved him and because she had decided at 25 that the specific adventure was a specific appropriate response to the specific life that was available. She was not afraid, she told Eleanor, of the specific Texas ranch. She was afraid of the specific loneliness, the specific particular loneliness of the specific foreign place where the specific people around you are the specific kind and the specific welcoming, but where none of them share the specific particular references, the specific particular humor, the specific particular way of understanding the specific particular thing that makes the specific conversation the specific real conversation rather than the specific pleasant exchange. Eleanor understood this immediately. The specific fear that Doris named, the specific loneliness of the specific person who is among the specific kind people but who is not quite of them, was a specific fear that Eleanor had been carrying without being able to name it. Doris had named it on the second day of the crossing. Eleanor had been grateful for the naming for the rest of her life. They wrote to each other for 30 years. Eleanor in Ohio, Doris in Texas. The specific letters of the specific particular friendship that the specific particular ship had produced. They visited twice. Once in 1955, Eleanor driving to Texas, and once in 1962, Doris coming to Ohio. They were, by the specific time of both visits, the specific Americans at the specific crossings had made them, the specific English women who had become the specific American women in the specific way that the specific 40 years in the specific places had made possible. They were also, still, the specific women who had talked on the specific deck of the specific ship about the specific fear of the specific loneliness, and who had been grateful to each other for the specific naming. Doris died in 1989. Eleanor outlived her by 12 years. She said, in an interview she gave after the memoir was published, that the specific friendship with Doris was the specific most important friendship of the specific American life, more important than the specific Ohio friendships, which were the specific real friendships of the specific ongoing daily life, but which had not been formed in the specific context of the specific shared particular fear. Doris had shared the specific particular fear. The specific sharing had been the specific foundation. This is a specific thing about the specific crossing community, the specific 800 women on the specific ship, that the specific broader history of the specific war brides does not always capture. The specific crossing produced the specific particular bonds of the specific shared particular situation, and some of those bonds lasted, not all of them. The specific distance, Eleanor to Ohio, Doris to Texas, the specific other women to the specific various corners of the specific vast country, made the specific maintaining of the specific bonds a specific work. Some of the bonds were maintained. Some dissolved in the specific distance of the specific different American lives. Eleanor maintained the specific Doris bond. She also maintained the specific bonds with two other women from the ship, a woman from Yorkshire who went to California, and whom she saw every few years at the specific annual gathering of the specific War Brides Association that the specific California chapter organized, and a woman from London who went to Michigan, and with whom she exchanged Christmas cards for 40 years. The specific network of the specific ship, imperfect, attenuated by the specific distance and the specific different lives, but present, was a specific particular support of the specific particular situation that the specific Ohio Women's Club and the specific Thomas's Mother's Church Group and the specific other American communities that Eleanor joined could not fully provide. The specific ship women knew. They had been on the specific ship. They had had the specific conversation with the specific Doris about the specific particular fear. They did not need the specific explaining. Eleanor never fully needed to explain herself to Thomas. He was perceptive and he was loving and he tried. But there were specific things about the specific experience that the specific Thomas, who had grown up in Ohio and who had never been required to make the specific crossing of the specific particular kind, could not quite reach. The specific shipwomen could reach them. They had made the same crossing. They lived in the specific different corners of the specific country. They wrote letters, and they kept Christmas cards, and they met occasionally in the specific California chapter's annual gathering. They were the specific community of the specific, particular experience. Eleanor found them the specific most important community of the specific American life. Not the specific most present, but the specific most particular. The specific 70,000 British war brides who crossed America between 1945 and 1950 formed, in aggregate, one of the specific largest volunteer migrations of women in the specific history of the specific Atlantic crossing. Each of them made the specific individual decision based on the specific individual man and the specific individual feeling and the specific individual courage that the specific decision required, and each of them arrived in a specific different place and made the specific different version of the specific same journey. Some of them found the specific American life the specific right life. Some of them found it the specific wrong life and came back. Some of them found it the specific complicated life. Neither the specific right nor the specific wrong, but the specific ongoing negotiation of the specific person who is between the specific two worlds and who has chosen one without entirely leaving the other. Eleanor found it the specific right life. Not immediately. The specific first years had the specific difficulty of the specific adjustment that the specific memoir documents with the specific honesty. But eventually, in the specific way of the specific finding that takes the specific years, she found it. She was Ohioan. She was English. She drank tea in the morning in the specific way that the specific Ohio neighbors found charming and that she found simply necessary. She used the specific English expressions in the specific, particular moments when the specific American equivalents did not quite carry the specific meaning she intended. She watched the cricket scores in the specific newspaper when the specific newspaper carried them, which was not often. She was also at the PDA meetings and the church socials and the specific Ohio occasions of the specific Ohio life. She was present in the specific American way. She had built the specific American life with a specific English woman inside it, and both were genuine and both were hers. 41 years of a specific particular marriage in a specific particular Ohio city. For children, all American, all carrying the specific English grandmother's specific particular phrases in the specific particular moments. A garden she had made in the specific English style that the specific Ohio climate imperfectly allowed. A friendship with Doris in Texas that lasted 30 years. She crossed the ocean for a man she had known for 3 weeks. She stayed for the life that the crossing made possible. That is a specific full accounting of the specific Eleanor and the specific crossing and the specific 41 years that followed. Her name was Eleanor. She had fallen in love with a soldier from Ohio named Thomas, not the specific Thomas from the evacuation episode, a different specific Thomas who had been stationed near her village in Kent the months before D-Day. He was 25, from a small Ohio city, the son of a hardware store owner who had grown up in the specific American Midwestern life that was as foreign to Eleanor as the specific Kent village was to Thomas. They had found each other at a dance in March 1944. He had asked her to dance. She had accepted. They had talked through 3 dances, and then through the specific walk home, and then through the specific cup of tea at the specific village kitchen table, while her mother watched from across the room with the specific expression of the English mother watching an American soldier talk to her daughter. She had known, she said later. She said in the memoir she wrote in 1982, which is one of the more remarkable documents in the specific literature of the War Bride, that the specific thing between them was a specific real thing rather than the specific wartime infatuation that the specific warnings of the specific period cautioned against. She had been cautioned. The specific government pamphlets, the specific newspaper articles, the specific older women of the specific village, all had offered the specific warning that the specific American soldier was the specific charming and the specific temporary, and that the specific English girl who fell for the specific American soldier was a specific vulnerable girl in the specific situation. She had received the warnings. She had also, she said, understood the difference between the specific infatuation and the specific real thing, and she had known which one this was. She married him on the 21st day. He shipped out on the 22nd. She returned to the post office and the specific village life and the specific waiting. The waiting was a specific 9 months of the specific correspondence, the specific letters crossing the Atlantic, the specific Eleanor reading the specific Thomas from the specific distance that the specific letters created, the specific knowledge of the specific husband accumulating in the specific form of the specific written words. She learned that he was funny in the specific dry Midwestern way that she had not expected. She learned that he was homesick for the specific Ohio city in the specific particular way. For the specific baseball games, the specific hardware store, the specific things of the specific particular home that the specific war had removed him from. She learned that he was frightened in the specific guarded way of the specific wartime letter written under the specific understanding that the specific letter might be censored, the specific fear never directly stated but present in the specific spaces between the specific lines. She learned to love him more specifically through the specific letters, not more simply. The specific 3 weeks had been the simple version, the specific meeting and the specific recognition, and the specific decision in the specific compressed time. The specific 9 months of the specific letters was a specific more complex version. The specific person emerging through the specific words in the specific more honest and the specific more complete form that the specific distance sometimes allows. He came home in May 1945. She saw him at the station in London. He had come through London on his way to Ohio, and she had come up from Kent, and they had stood in the specific Liverpool Street station with the specific 9 months of the specific letters between them and the specific 3 weeks of the specific original meeting already some distance behind them, and they had looked at each other with the specific quality of recognition. That is also the specific quality of meeting. He was thinner. She was a specific person who had been waiting. Both of them had changed in the specific 9 months. The specific person who had married her on the 21st day was a specific same person, and also the specific different person. And she was a specific same person who had married him, and also the specific different person who had spent 9 months learning him through the specific letters. They spent 3 days in London. They talked. They walked. They had the specific dinner that the specific restaurants that were still operating in the specific post-war London provided. They were, she said in the memoir, the specific careful with each other, the specific careful of two people who know each other from the specific letters and who are now in the specific physical presence of the specific letter writer, negotiating the specific gap between the specific written person and the specific physical person. The specific gap was not large. The specific Thomas of the specific letters was recognizably the specific Thomas of the specific 3 weeks and the specific Thomas of the specific London dinner. She had married the specific right man. She knew this in the specific 3 days in London, with the specific confirmation of the specific physical presence that the specific 9 months of the specific letters had not been able to provide. He went back to Ohio to prepare. She stayed in England to complete the specific process of the Specific War Brides Act, the specific American legislation passed in 1945 that allowed the foreign spouses of American servicemen to immigrate to the United States, which required the specific documentation and the specific processing that the specific legislation imposed on the specific thousands of women who were making the specific crossing. She crossed in February 1946. The specific ship, one of the specific converted troop ships that the specific military had designated for the transport of the specific war brides, carried approximately 800 women, most of them British, some of them from other European countries, all of them making the specific same crossing toward the specific same uncertain future. The crossing took 7 days. She spent the 7 days in the specific company of the specific other women, the specific community of the specific same situation, the specific 100 conversations between the specific women who were all doing the specific same specific thing for the specific various specific reasons. She learned things on the crossing that she had not known before it, about the specific variety of the specific American husbands, about the specific particular challenges of the specific particular regions of the specific particular country she was going to, about the specific women who were afraid, and the specific women who were not, and the specific women who were both. She arrived in New York. Thomas was not there. He was in Ohio. The specific arrangement of the specific war bride arrival being that the specific women were processed through the specific New York reception facility and then transported by the specific military to the specific nearest point to their specific destination. She was transported to Columbus, Ohio, where Thomas was waiting. She saw him on the platform in Columbus. He was wearing the specific civilian clothes that the specific discharged veteran was wearing now instead of the specific uniform. He looked more like the specific Ohio hardware store owner's son that he was, and less like the specific American soldier that she had met at the specific Kent dance. She had married the uniform partly, not entirely. She was careful to say in the memoir, not the specific infatuation with the specific uniform, but the specific person inside the uniform. But the specific uniform had been part of the specific context, and the specific civilian clothes were the specific new context, and the specific new context produced a specific slight adjustment of the specific perception. She loved him. She had crossed the ocean for him. She was standing on a platform in Columbus, Ohio, in February 1946, in the specific clothes she had worn on the ship, with a specific small bag she had carried from Kent. Looking at the specific man she had married on the 21st day, he held her. She held him back. He took her home to the specific house he had prepared for them in the specific Ohio city. The specific small house on the specific particular street, furnished with the specific furniture that the specific hardware store owner's son and his parents had assembled for the specific returning veteran and his specific English wife. She walked through the specific front door on the specific first morning in America and looked at the specific street outside the specific window and understood with the specific clarity of the specific arriving person that the specific life she was going to live was going to be lived here, in this specific house, on this specific street, in this specific Ohio city that she had never seen before the specific February morning. She was 23 years old. She had known her husband for 3 weeks plus 9 months of letters, plus 3 days in London, plus the specific time since his return to Ohio. She was in a foreign country. The specific country was going to become the specific home. She set about making it so. The specific process of the specific making it home is the specific story that the memoir documents in specific detail, the specific learning of the specific American life, the specific particular American customs, and the specific particular American food, and the specific particular American way of being in the specific particular world that the specific Ohio city provided. She had come from the specific English village life, and she was now in the specific American city life. And the specific gap between the two was the specific ongoing work of the specific first years. Thomas was helpful. He was also the specific person who was already home, who knew the specific American life from inside, who had the specific friends and the specific family, and the specific particular belonging to the specific particular place, and who could not fully understand the specific experience of the specific person for whom the specific particular place was the specific foreign place. He was patient with the specific confusions. He was not always able to see them from the specific perspective that the specific Eleanor was seeing them from, because the specific familiar is the specific invisible, and the specific things that were the specific ordinary American life to Thomas were the specific bewilderment to Eleanor. She found her way. The specific memoir documents the specific finding, the specific years of the specific adjustment, the specific particular friendships with the specific particular American women who became the specific particular community of the specific particular Ohio life, the specific moments when the specific foreign became the specific familiar and the specific familiar became the specific home. She also maintained the specific English, not the specific English in the specific exclusionary sense, but the specific English in the specific real sense of the specific person who was formed by the specific particular place and who carries a specific formation in the specific particular ways. She kept the specific English tea. She kept the specific English expressions that the specific American friends found charming, and that she found herself choosing to keep not for specific charm, but for the specific truth that they carried, the specific words of the specific particular world that had made her with the specific words she continued to reach for in the specific particular moments. Thomas did not ask her to stop being English. He had married the specific English woman. He had wanted the specific English woman. He found the specific particular English things that she maintained in the specific Ohio life, both the specific endearing and the specific occasional reminder of the specific distance between the specific two worlds that had produced the specific two people who had found each other at the specific Kent dance in March 1944. They were married for 41 years. He died in 1987. She stayed in Ohio. She had been in Ohio for 41 years. It was home. She died in 2001. The memoir is in several libraries. Her children, American, with a specific English grandmother's specific English accent still audible in the specific particular phrases they reach for in the specific particular moments, are still in Ohio. She crossed the ocean. She made a home. She was English and she was Ohioan, and both were true for the rest of the specific life. That is a full accounting of the war bride who crossed an ocean to marry a man she barely knew, and who spent 40 years turning the specific stranger's country into the specific home. The specific question that Eleanor's story poses, the specific question about what it requires to build a home in a specific foreign place, is one that extends well beyond the specific context of the specific war bride crossing the specific ocean. Most people spend their lives in a specific place that shaped them. The specific home, the specific language, the specific food, the specific references, the specific humor, the specific particular way of understanding the specific particular world, is a specific given, the specific thing that simply is because the specific birth and the specific growing up produced it. The specific person who stays in the specific place of the specific origin never has to do the specific work of the specific making it home. Eleanor had to do it, not because she had been displaced by force. She had chosen the crossing, but the specific choosing of the specific crossing did not eliminate the specific work that the crossing required. She had chosen the specific foreign place. The specific foreign place did not automatically become the specific home. The specific home had to be made. The specific making required the specific particular things that the memoir documents. The specific friendships with the specific Ohio women who became the specific community. The specific finding of the specific way with the specific Thomas's mother, the specific participation in the specific church and the specific PDA and the specific particular Ohio occasions, the specific learning of the specific American customs and the specific American humor and the specific American way of being in the specific particular world. It also required the specific not abandoning, the specific maintenance of the specific English tea and the specific English expressions and the specific particular things that were the specific real Eleanor rather than the specific performance of the specific English woman for the specific American audience. She did not abandon the specific English self to become the specific American woman. She carried the specific English self into the specific American life, and she made the specific American life around and alongside the specific English self. The specific result was the specific particular person, not fully English and not fully American, but the specific Eleanor, who was formed by the specific particular combination of the specific particular village in Kent and the specific particular 41 years in Ohio and the specific particular love of the specific particular Thomas and the specific particular friendship of the specific particular Doris and the specific particular children and the specific particular life. She was not simply the sum of the two specific parts. She was a specific particular person who was a specific particular result of the specific particular crossing and the specific particular making. She died in 2001. The memoir is in the libraries. The specific children are in Ohio. The specific English tea is still being drunk at the specific breakfast table that her specific children have inherited the specific particular habit from. She crossed the ocean for a man she barely knew. She spent 41 years learning him more completely. She spent 41 years making the specific Ohio home from the specific available materials. She died having made it. Subscribe and share the story. The war brides who crossed the ocean deserve to be known not only for the specific dramatic crossing, but for the specific decades that followed. The specific making the specific home in the specific foreign place that the specific crossing required. She crossed. She made a home. She was English and she was Ohioan, and both were true. That is enough. That is the full accounting of the war bride who crossed an ocean to marry a man she barely knew, and who turned the stranger's country into home. The specific broader history of the 70,000 British war brides who crossed to America, the specific demographic scale of the specific particular migration, illuminates Eleanor's specific story within the specific larger pattern. The War Brides Act of 1945 allowed the non-citizen spouses and children of American servicemen to enter the United States outside the normal immigration quota system. The specific legislation was a specific practical acknowledgement that the specific war had produced the specific marriages in a specific volume that the specific normal immigration system was not designed to process. Approximately 70,000 British women qualified under the Act and made the crossing in the specific years between 1945 and 1950. They came from every county in England and Scotland and Wales. They came from the specific cities and the specific villages and the specific particular backgrounds that the specific war had mixed together in the specific conditions of the specific American deployment. They were factory workers and shopkeepers' daughters and nurses and post office clerks and land girls and women who had worked in the specific war industries that the specific women of the specific wartime Britain had filled. They went to every state. In America, they went to the specific farmhouses of the specific rural Midwest and the specific apartments of the specific urban East and the specific ranches of the specific Texas that Doris was going to in the specific small cities of the specific Ohio that Eleanor was going to. They went to places they had seen in films and places they had never imagined and places that were nothing like what the specific films had suggested. The specific variety of the specific outcomes is the specific thing that the specific aggregate statistic does not capture and that the specific individual memoir does. Eleanor's specific Ohio was not Doris's specific Texas. The specific woman from Glasgow who went to a Louisiana bayou was not the specific woman from Devon who went to a Massachusetts mill town. The specific 70,000 were the specific 70,000 different versions of the specific same basic crossing, and each version produced a specific particular story that the specific particular woman and the specific particular man and the specific particular place produced together. The specific research on the long-term outcomes of the war brides, conducted primarily by British and American historians in the specific decades since the specific women have begun to age and their memoirs and oral histories have become available, suggests that the specific majority of the specific crossings resulted in the specific long-term marriages and the specific successful integrations, the specific minority that did not, the specific women who found the specific American life the specific wrong life and who returned to Britain, or who found the specific marriage the specific wrong marriage and who divorced, or who found the specific combination of the specific two, is a specific minority that the specific official narrative of the specific war bride success story has sometimes obscured. Eleanor was a specific successful story. She was aware of this. The memoir acknowledges the specific women who were not the specific successful story, who crossed and found the specific circumstances that made the specific crossing the specific wrong decision. She acknowledged them without diminishing her own specific story. The specific successful story and the specific unsuccessful story were both the specific real stories of the specific real women who had made the specific real crossing. The specific unsuccessful stories, the specific women who came back, the specific marriages that ended, the specific situations that the specific 3 weeks of the specific courtship had not been sufficient to identify, are the specific underside of the specific war bride narrative. They deserve acknowledgement too, not as the specific failures. The specific decisions the specific women made were not failures. They were the specific brave decisions of the specific brave women in the specific conditions, but as a specific full accounting of the specific 70,000, which includes the specific outcomes that the specific official narrative prefers not to foreground. Eleanor's outcome was a specific one that the specific official narrative prefers. She was aware of the specific difference between the specific preference and the specific reality. She wrote the memoir with the specific awareness, honoring her own specific story and acknowledging the specific others. She crossed. She stayed. She made a home. The specific 70,000 crossed. Some stayed. Some came back. All of them were the specific brave women who had made the specific decision in the specific conditions of the specific war. They deserve to be known, not only the specific ones who stayed. The specific letters that Eleanor and Thomas wrote to each other in the specific 9 months between his departure and her crossing are worth examining more carefully, because they are the specific form in which the specific marriage was actually built. The specific 3 weeks had produced the specific recognition, the specific encounter, and the specific decision. But the specific marriage that sustained the specific 41 years was built in the specific 9 months of the specific letters. And the specific building was a specific more deliberate and the specific more revealing version of the specific 3 weeks. Eleanor described the specific experience of reading Thomas's letters in the memoir as the specific experience of meeting him more completely. He wrote, she said, in ways that the specific 3 weeks had not allowed, with a specific time and a specific space that the specific letter provides rather than the specific compressed energy of the specific wartime encounter. He was funnier on paper than she had expected. He was more afraid on paper than he had let her see in person. He was more specific about the specific things he loved, the specific baseball, the specific hardware store, the specific particular Ohio things that the specific letter had the specific time to describe, than the specific 3 weeks had been long enough for. She received him more completely through the specific letters than she had received him in the specific 3 weeks. This was a specific particular gift of the specific particular form, the specific letter that allows the specific time and the specific space that the specific face-to-face meeting sometimes does not. She also gave herself more completely in the specific letters. The specific Eleanor who wrote to Thomas in the specific 9 months was a specific fuller Eleanor, the specific woman who was missing him and who was afraid about the specific crossing and who was maintaining the specific post office work and the specific village life while also preparing in the specific private imagination for the specific life that the specific crossing was going to produce. She gave him the specific fuller version of herself. He gave her the specific fuller version of himself. By the time the crossing happened, they had given each other these fuller versions. The specific 3 weeks had been the specific beginning. The specific 9 months had been the specific development. The specific Columbus platform was the specific convergence of the specific 2 people who had written themselves more fully to each other in the specific 9 months than they had been able to show each other in the specific 3 weeks. She said, when I saw him on the platform in Columbus, I recognized not just the man I had married, but the man who had written those letters. The specific letter writer and the specific physical person were the specific same person, and the specific recognition was the specific recognition of both at once. I had known him from the letters. I was meeting him from the letters. The specific meeting was the specific completion of the specific 9 months of the specific reading. This is a specific gift of the specific wartime correspondence. The specific particular form of knowing that the specific letters produce in the specific particular conditions of the specific particular separation. Eleanor and Thomas had been separated by the specific ocean and the specific war, and the specific separation had produced a specific particular form of the specific particular knowing that the specific physical presence had not been long enough to produce. The specific 9 months were, in some respects, the specific best preparation for the specific 41 years, not because the specific letters were a substitute for the specific physical presence. They were not, and the specific gap between the specific letter writer and the specific physical person was a specific real gap that the specific Columbus platform had required the specific real adjusting to accommodate. But because the specific letters had produced the specific knowledge of the specific person that the specific 41 years required. She knew who he was. She had known from the letters. The specific 41 years confirmed what the specific 9 months of the specific letters had shown her. He was a specific right man. She had known it from the specific 3rd day of the specific 3 weeks, and the specific 9 months of the specific letters had confirmed it, and the specific 41 years had confirmed it again and again in the specific particular way of the specific long marriage, that is, a specific ongoing confirmation of the specific original specific right decision. She was a specific right woman. He knew it too. He had crossed the specific Kent Village dance floor to ask her to dance, and he had known, by the end of the specific first dance, that the specific thing between them was a specific real thing, and the specific 9 months of the specific letters had confirmed it for him too. They were right about each other. They had known each other for 3 weeks. They were right anyway. That is the specific remarkable thing about the specific Eleanor and Thomas story, not the specific dramatic crossing, not the specific particular difficulty of the specific making it home, but the specific remarkable fact that the specific 3 weeks and the specific instinct were the specific right 3 weeks and the specific right instinct, and that the specific 41 years proved it. He asked her to dance. She said yes. He asked her to marry him. She said yes. She crossed the ocean. He was right. She was right. Both were right. The specific 41 years confirmed it. Subscribe and share this story with someone who took the specific leap and found it was a specific right leap. Their story is this story too. She crossed the ocean. She was right. That is the full accounting. The specific village in Kent that Eleanor left, the specific particular place she had grown up in, and that she was leaving for specific Ohio city she had never seen, deserves the specific particular attention that the specific leaving requires. She had grown up in the specific particular village since birth. She had attended the specific village school and the specific village church and the specific village dances and the specific post office where she had worked. She knew every person in the village, and every person in the village knew her. The specific particular texture of the specific particular place, the specific lanes, the specific hedgerows, the specific particular light of the specific particular Kent landscape was a specific world inside which the specific Eleanor had been formed. She was leaving for a place she had never seen, to live a life she could not fully imagine, with a man she had known for 3 weeks. Her parents accepted the specific decision, not with a specific simple acceptance of the specific parents who have no concerns. Her mother cried. Her father was quiet in the specific particular way of the specific father who has concerns he is not going to express because the specific decision has already been made. But they accepted it. She was 22. The specific decision was hers to make. She came back once, in 1953, 7 years after crossing. Thomas could not come. The hardware store in the specific Ohio life did not permit the specific long absence. She came alone with her 2 small children. She spent 3 weeks in the specific Kent village. 3 weeks that rhymed, she noted in the memoir, with the specific 3 weeks that had produced a specific decision to cross. The specific village had changed, not dramatically. The specific lanes and the specific hedgerows and the specific particular light were still the specific same. But the specific people had changed in the specific 7 years, and the specific Eleanor had changed in the specific 7 years, and the specific change in the specific Eleanor was a specific, more profound change of the two. She was not the specific village girl who had left. She was a specific Ohio woman who had come back for 3 weeks. She said, "I had come home to find that home had moved, not the specific place. The specific place was still there, recognizable in every specific lane and every specific familiar face. But the specific relationship between me and the specific place had changed. I was a visitor, not an unwelcome visitor. The specific village welcomed me with the specific warmth that the specific village gives to the specific returned familiar person. But a visitor, the specific home I had left was no longer the specific home I had. The specific Ohio was the specific home I had. This is a specific, most honest account of what the specific crossing ultimately produces. The specific person who can no longer fully go back because the specific going forward has produced a specific new specific home, and the specific old specific home has become the specific beautiful and the specific beloved and the specific foreign country. She came back to Ohio. She came back to Thomas and the specific children and the specific house on the specific street. She came back to the specific home she had made. She went back to England once more in 1967 for her father's funeral. Thomas came that time. It was his first time in England since the war. He saw the specific Kent village that Eleanor had come from. He saw the specific dance hall where he had asked her to dance. He stood in it and said, "I can see why you said yes." She said, "I can see why I did too." They stood in the specific dance hall in the specific Kent village in 1967, and they were the specific couple who had met there 23 years before and who had built a specific 41-year marriage in the specific 3 weeks and the specific 9 months of letters and the specific crossing and the specific Ohio life. They stood there and they understood what they had built in the specific retrospect that the specific 23 years allowed. He had asked her to dance. She had said yes. They had built 41 years. They were right to build it. The specific 41 years confirmed the specific 3 weeks. The specific 3 weeks were worth the specific crossing. She crossed the ocean. She was right. He was right. The specific 41 years were right. That is the full accounting. That is the war bride who crossed an ocean to marry a man she barely knew, and who spent 41 years confirming that the barely knowing had been enough to know the specific right thing. The specific garden that Eleanor made in the specific Ohio backyard, the specific English garden in the specific American climate, is a specific final image I want to give this episode, because it is a specific image that carries a specific full weight of the specific full story. She planted it in her second year in Ohio, not the specific American garden. The specific perennial beds and the specific vegetable patch and the specific lawn that the specific American yard convention required. The specific English garden. The specific roses along the specific back fence. The specific foxgloves that the specific Ohio climate imperfectly supported. The specific lavender that the specific Ohio summers were almost right for. Thomas's mother saw the garden and said it was unusual. The specific Ohio neighbors found it charming. Eleanor tended it for 39 years, from the specific second year of the specific marriage to the specific death of Thomas in 1987, and then continued to tend it until she could no longer do the specific physical work that the specific garden required. The specific garden was not the specific Kent garden. The specific Ohio climate was not the specific Kent climate, and the specific Ohio soil was not the specific Kent soil, and the specific garden that Eleanor made in the specific Ohio yard was a specific Ohio version of the specific English thing, the specific adaptation, the specific approximation, the specific real attempt to make the specific familiar thing in the specific unfamiliar place. It was also the specific most visible expression of the specific particular Eleanor, the specific person who was English and was Ohioan, and who had made the specific home in the specific Ohio that included the specific English garden, because the specific English garden was the specific part of the specific Eleanor that the specific Ohio life was going to contain. The specific garden was a specific proof that the specific making it home did not require the specific abandoning of the specific self. She made the specific Ohio home. She also made the specific English garden. Both were the specific home. Both were the specific Eleanor.